Lloyd Vehicle Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below.
Good afternoon. Today is the 4th of June and it's time to talk about something that, well, in the early days of the channel it was a very big deal, and that is the Ultra Low Emission Zone. But it's not the Ultra Low Emission Zone that we know and love. It's not even the expanded Ultra Low Emission Zone. It's the second expanded Ultra Low Emission Zone that we need to address. And here I am, just near Heathrow Airport. I've just done a job for a client today. I'll talk about it more in a very vague vlog that we will be releasing in the future. Although some of you who were on the set Toledo channel membership level and above will have probably already seen that. The rest of you will see it probably at some point in July. But we'll focus what we need to on the good old Ultra Low Emission Zone and what the future plans for it are, because this affects all of us, and I'll go into the reasons for that in a moment. First of all, we need to establish what the Ultra Low Emission Zone in London is, and you know, there are many similar zones now cropping up around the country. The Ultra Low Emission Zone came in to the same area as the London Congestion Charge Zone in 2019, although the plans were firmly in place for that in 2017. That's one of the reasons, in fact one of the main reasons, that I sold the car that I had before I started operating in my current job as an independent vehicle consultant, because it had an engine that we can't talk about, and also the depreciation on the car, because everybody knew that the Ultra Low Emission Zone was coming, was horrific. I think it was losing at one point £200 a month. It's very different these days in the second-hand car world, but my car was, well, less than 3 years old, and to be told then by the government that your car is non-compliant with the Ultra Low Emission Zone, which will be in October 2021, so a few years from that point, the boundary of the North and South Circular was great. Like, you know, the car I had was, I think, £30 a year to tax. It was very economical and all this kind of thing. To be told that, you know, you've made the wrong choice and your car is non-compliant and you've got to get rid of it was not great. And that's one of the main reasons why we don't talk about diesels on this channel. So that was very much the thing we've had in place from the start, because, well, the Ultra Low Emission Zone is a place where, you know, your old car often isn't very welcome. So the rules in terms of emissions are, if you've got a car that's over 40 years old, in this case it would be you know, 1981 or earlier, you can apply for an exemption, so you don't have to pay anything. You can go in and out of the zone as much as you want, which currently stands at the border of the North and South Circular, expanded from what is the Congestion Charge Zone, which was started in April 2019, though the plans became evident in 2017. So you can bring a car in, I think on a motorcycle, I didn't check that, but car in that's over 40 years old, that's fine. You can also bring in a car with a petrol engine that is Euro 4 compliant or equivalent. And there's a little asterisk about that, but generally Euro 4. Euro 4 cars were compulsory in this country, or Euro 4 engine cars, from 1st of January 2006. So generally everything that's got a petrol engine after 1st of January 2006 is absolutely fine. What you find though is a lot of older cars from about 2001 onwards are also Euro 4 compliant, and that includes even things like Rovers. In my car was a 2003 and that's Ultra Low Emission Zone compliant. So it's worth going on the government checker and just seeing if you've got a petrol car between about 2001 and 2005, whether you're okay. Some of them will be, some of them won't be. In terms of diesel, forbidden fuel, we do have to talk about it now though, because this is very important. If you have a car with one of those engines, then of course over 40 years old, 1981 or before, it's not really a problem. But rather than being 2006, the actual date that's officially the kind of cut off for those is September 2015. So a huge difference almost 10 years. That's why so many people want to get rid of their cars that are not compliant and have forbidden fuel engines. And actually somewhere right here, we're literally on road 25 now. It's going to get really close to this particular road very, very shortly. The zone's being expanded. They're actually consulting right now as to whether to bring the Ultra Low Emission Zone to the Greater London boundary, not the N25 as some people have said, the Greater London boundary in August 2023. So if your car, which has a forbidden fuel engine, is not Euro 6 compliant, and those are generally those registered after September 2015, then you have to pay £12.50 a day to go into anywhere in Greater London if this comes through. At the moment it's just boundary North and South Circular. Obviously the congestion charge is separate and you're still going to pay that in the majority of cars. But it's going to be the case soon that you go anywhere in Greater London if your car actually moves. If you want to move, then of course you don't pay. But that goes without saying. But if you've got a car which does not meet Euro 4 emission standards for petrol or Euro 6 for the diesels, then that will be the case if this legislation goes through, which is looking like it probably will, sadly. So that's a big change for a lot of people. And elsewhere in the country, Birmingham has one of these zones. It's called the Clean Air Zone, I think, in Birmingham, but it's the same thing. Bristol's getting one soon. It was delayed, but it's going to be coming through. And you know, places like Manchester, I think Bradford, there's loads of places that are looking at getting these, and generally the standards are the same. They're not always the same. So make sure that, you know, if you want to check your car, you look at the relevant government website of the area that you might be driving in and just check. But these are general standards for it. It's yeah. So Euro 4 for petrol, generally those cars which registered from January 2006, although loads of cars were Euro 4 compliant before that. And with the forbidden fuel, it's September 2015, although there might be some before that, but generally people are looking for 65 plate onwards cars if they want to do that. So yes, the classic case today with a client that I had, he had a 63 plate car with a diesel engine and it's not compliant. It's as simple as that. And so we had to find something that was. And that was one of the reasons why we wanted to change the car. Also, the car had a Ford power shift gearbox. Those aren't great. And he also needed to get a bigger car anyway because he's having a third child. So all sorts of different reasons, but main reason, he can't go and visit his in-laws. Live in Balham. That is just outside the South Circular. So in the moment it's okay. He doesn't get charged, but if you know, it comes to it, that the legislation comes through, which I've said is likely, then he won't be able to do that anymore. So we have found him a nice petrol car instead. But you know, the values of these non-compliant cars are going to keep going down. You know, elsewhere in the country, it's not critical at the moment, but who knows what they're going to do? I don't know. So yes, just know that in August 2023, it's very likely that the same standards that apply to the London Ultra Low Emission Zone will also apply to anywhere in Greater London. And I'm telling you this now, not because I happen to have a personal agenda of trying to source cars for people, although I just did that, and so that's a disclaimer from me, that's what I do. But just so you're aware of what's going on, if you see a massive crash in price of non-compliant cars. Both the older petrol cars are between sort of 81 and about 2005, and a lot of stuff with the flipping fuel engine. Then you'll know why. So thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below. It all very much helps, and we'll see you again soon for more useful consumer advice.